Hello everyone, Gabriel here. In this video today, I want to break down data definition language and show you how to use it to create, modify, and manage your databases with ease. In this video, you will learn the meaning of data definition language, the basic command of data definition language, how to create users, databases, and tables. And as well, we are going to learn how to modify your tables, and I'll also give you a good understanding of various data types that will aid your ability to create tables and protect the integrity of your data. If you are new to SQL or you are a professional, this video have you covered. In this video, you are going to have a good understanding of data definition language and how to apply it in the real world. So if you are yet to subscribe to my YouTube channel, why not do so by subscribing, and don't forget to hit the notification bell. And if you like the video, why not give me a like by hitting the thumbs up button, and don't forget to share it with others. And if you have any comment, use the comment section down below so that you can drop your comment as a feedback for me to know how this video has been of help to you. I'll be using my SQL as the database and the interface for this practice. This work with any database that you have, but in case you are interested in using my SQL, I drop the link to step-by-step guide on how to download and install in the description down below. You can do well to download it and install, and you follow along with me. So I want you to sit back and relax, and let's take this journey together and enjoy this class. Let's get to it. Data definition language is that part of SQL statement that we use to define database and all its objects in it. And like we said in my previous video, we have statements like create, alter, drop, truncate, and comment. So these are the commands that we are going to engage in this tutorial. So to start with, we are going to use create. This is the syntax of how to create user. You say create user, then you state the username, now write identified by, then you state the password, and then you terminate it with a semicolon. Now let's take a look at the example. We want to create a user called Gabriel Joe. I want to place him in a host called localhost. We have different kind of hosts. You can use your IP address, or you use localhost like this one, which is your computer system or any local system that you are using, or you can place him on any of the hosts using that percentage sign. So now let's take a look at this. You are creating a user called Gabriel Joe. So you say create user Gabriel underscore Joe at localhost space identified by, they now state the password. Place your cursor here and run. Now you have two ways to run it, either by using this button or you use this. Now what's the difference between this? Once you click it, it will run everything in this file simultaneously. All right, but we only want to run this. So what you do, if you want to use this to run only this, you only highlight, or you just use this. This will run what is under this cursor. All right, so now this is the cursor and it's terminated here. So we are going to place it. I'm going to press this and it will run. Now you can see in our action output, which I always advise you always ensure that it is highlighted. All right, if you want to make sure that it's there, is to come here and check. If you take it off, you can see it is off, and you can bring it back by using this. The essence of this is to see the progress of your command, whether it's running successfully or not. So this has created a user for us. So now if you want to see the user that you have created, you use this command. Just type select user. You want to see their host, say comma and state the host there, and any other column you want to see. From then the table name, just run this. You can see that it went successfully, and these are the various users that you have. You can see Gabriel Joe is here and is in localhost. Okay, like I said, you can do it alternatively without using the localhost. You just state the name, but let me say JO this time around so that the name will be different. Doesn't matter if the password is the same, or I may not even put it in quotes. It will still run successfully this way. So you can see that it went successfully. we have created another user, but this will now assume a default value of percentage, which means is having access to any of the hosts. So let's view that as well. You can see that the host is now this sign means it has access to any of the hosts that is available in the server. So that's it. Now if you want to change the password of any of your user as a database administrator or a developer, so what you do is to run this command, alter user, then now put in quotes the username and you state the host name. And as it identified by this time around, you will now state the new password. As long as the user exists in that same specified host, the password will change automatically. So now we already have Gabriel Joe. So want to change the password from what we gave it to this. You run this, you can see that the query has gone successfully. So the password has changed to what? New underscore password. That's how you change password of any user. So alternatively, you can as well use this by saying set password for, you now mention the username at, then the host, now say equals to password, you now put new password in quotes and in brackets. So that will also work. Okay, so now the user created, that's Gabriel Joe, can only log in and log out. We have learned so far how to create users and how to change his password. Now, in case you don't want the user, then you can delete that particular user using drop user command. And how does it go? You say drop user, then the username at, then the host name. So that's all. So you just run this. You can see that it went successfully. For us to check if our command works, we just run the same thing that we did earlier. It says select user host name, and then from MySQL, let's see. You can see that same Gabriel Joe at localhost is no longer here. So that is how you create users, and that is how you delete users. So now if you want to create database, this is the syntax. You say create database, then you now mention the name of the database. So let's take a look at this example. I want to create a database called MyDB. So just say create database MyDB. So let's see, we run it with this. It went successfully. So now if you want to see the various databases that you have in your server, all you need to do is to say show databases. That's the syntax. So let's go. Now you can see all the various databases that we have. You scroll down here, you should be able to see it. Look at it. MyDB that we have created is there. If you want to see it here, all you need to do is to refresh. Once you refresh, you will see it. You can see it here. MyDB have been created. So now if you don't want the database again, you want to delete the database, use what we call drop database. Drop database, then the name of the database. So let's take a look at this example. So we have created MyDB. So just go ahead and say drop database MyDB. This will no longer be there. So you just click being deleted. You can see it's no longer there. And if you want to be sure, just come here and say show databases. And you see, you will not find it there anymore. So let's go down and you see it's no longer there. Can't find that same database anymore. Well, since we need it, so let's go ahead and create it. So you just say this, so it has been created. So if you want to see if it has been created, go with this show databases was successful, then we can find the database here. You can see it's now there. I haven't created database. The next thing to do is to populate it with table. So how do you create table in your database? Now for you to create table in your database, you must select the database you want to use first, otherwise there will be error. So for you to do that, you must use what we call use. Say use and now mention the database you want to use, which is MyDB that we have just created. So you state it there and say use MyDB. So with this, you run it. Now you can see that it has run successfully. If I refresh, you can see that it has been highlighted. So now we have chosen the database. So we want to now create table. Syntax to create table is saying create table. So the next thing after create table is you state the name of the table. Then you now open your bracket, and state all the columns you want to be in your table, and then state their data type and separating each one with a comma. And then when you are done, you close the bracket and run. Now let me digress to tell you about data type. And the essence of data type is to protect the integrity of the data that will be stored in each of the table. We have different forms of data type. Number one is string. String means collection of character that text or digit, which is number, or integer, or special character, and it could be combination of them. So just picture it that like your name and address and other things, they are string. So now we have different types of string. Now we have one we call char, that is character, C-H-A-R. Now character means you are going to specify a fixed number of character in that particular field. If you specify 10 in that particular field using char, it simply means that if what you write in it is not up to 10, system will make it up with its own default value, either using star or 0 or dot. But to make it better, we use what we call varchar, which is variable character. Variable character means it can take as many character as possible as long as it doesn't exceed a specified number. So if the column for name, you specify that the character type you want there is varchar, and you mention the length of it to be 10, and you insert Gabriel. Gabriel is 7 letters. It's going to stop there. But that's the difference between char and variable character. The maximum length is 255. It cannot take more than that. So if you specify it, it's going to work with the specified value. And if you don't specify the length, it's going to assume that 255. And we also have what we call text for long message. We have other form of string like block, long text, and the rest of them, and they all have their own specific maximum length that they can take, as you can see displayed on the screen. That is for string. The next data type that we have is integer. You can call it int. Now we have them in different categories. We have tiny int, small int, big int, and int itself, and they have their own specified maximum character type, as you can see displayed on the screen. All right, then after that we have decimal. For decimal, we allow you to input decimal number, and if you use double, it has its own. Then we also have for date data type. Specified date, it means dates. And we have date time, we have timestamp, and a host of others, as you can see displayed on the screen. So this is very, very important that you acquaint yourself with. And the last one is boolean. Boolean expression is more like a tiny int. Maximum it can take is 1. It's a yes or no data type, means true or false. Those are the various data types that we have. So let's see how we can apply this in creating tables. So for example, we want to create a table called SQL class. So now you just go and say create table, then you mention that, and you open bracket. Now this can continue the way it is written here. Just continue typing. But the essence of breaking it line by line, it's just for readability. It doesn't make any difference as long as you don't make mistake. So that is it. So you just say create table SQL class, then you open bracket, then you make a list of the column. Now we are creating just a simple table with 3 columns. The first column is ID, and we say this data type is int. That's integer, as we have mentioned. That's data type, and we said it's going to be primary key. I'm going to make another video to explain primary key and foreign key in details, but let's assume, like I said in my previous video, that you use ID basically for keys, just a unique identifier. So this one, we have no duplicate. That's the implication. Then this is first name, I call it F name. So I now said data type is varchar that we have been talking about. So and we say the maximum is 255. You can see that the comma is there. Then email varchar 255. Then you end your column list with this bracket, and then you terminate it here. Then let's run our command. Now you can see that it works successfully. All right, so now if you want to see the table that you have created, all you need to do, just say show tables, and then you run it. And you see, that's the table we have in my DB that we have just created. That's how you create table. Now, if you want to see all the columns that you have in that table, you want to display them, you just use what we call describe. Describe function will show you the structure of that particular table, which include columns and their specific constraint. So let's see, you just say describe, then you mention the name of the table. So let's run this. You can see how this is done. Now, if peradventure you created the table and you want to make some changes to that particular table, let's take a look at the various ways in which we can do that. Now, for you to modify column, you must start your command with alter table. Then you do now follow by what exactly you want to do. Let's say you want to add a new column to your table. Remember the table that we created, we had only 3 columns. Maybe you want to add address to it now. So to add a new column, this is the syntax. You just say alter table, then you mention the name of the table, and I say add column, then the new column name, and don't forget to state the data type. Now, this statement here is optional. Either you say first or you say after, then you mention the name of the column. Now, this option is to specify where you want that column to be placed, because by default, when you add a new column, it goes to the bottom. It will be the last thing. But if you don't want it to be the last, then you can now use either you say first. First means that it's going to come first before any other one. But if you don't want it to be like that, you want to place it anywhere in between, you now say after, and now mention the column in which you want that column you are adding to come after. So now let's go with the syntax. Alter table SQL class. When I say we should add column address, then we have specified the data type. So now if I run this, it's going to be at the bottom, but now I don't want it to be at the bottom. Let me make it to come first. So I will now say first. It's not case sensitive. So now I said first, so it's going to come first. So let's see. Now the query was run successfully. So now let's check what we have created by doing what I call describe. So describe SQL underscore class, just to differentiate it. So I terminate that. So I'll run now. Can you see the address we created has come first because we specified it here to be coming first. That's how you add column to your table. So now let's say you want to change the data type, right? So what you do is to use modify. Modify will help you to change the data type. And how is the syntax? Like I said, you start with alter table, then the name of the table, and now mention what you want to do, which is modify column, then the column you want to modify, and then you now state the new data type. All right. So let's take a look at this example. Want to change the data type of this to integer, but it's just for practice. So now, like I said, want to see how you use after now. So now I want it to now be after the name before the address. So you now put it there. Now say after F name. So let's run this. You see, you can see that the query runs successfully. So let's describe the table now. Running this by saying describe this. Can you see it's no longer at the top? It's now here. And look at it. It has changed from varchar that it was to this. So that is how you change the data type. Okay, let's say you want to rename the column name, or you want to correct the spelling. Let's say you only want to change the name only. You can use rename and stop. But if you want to change the name and the data type, then you don't need to use the name. Just use what we call change column. We are going to see the 2 options. So now, let's take a look at this. You want to rename, the syntax still remains alter table, and you now state the name, the current name of that table, or you call it the old name of the table. Now say to whatever you want it to be. So now let's say alter table SQL rename column. You know, we are renaming address. We want to call it location. All right. So let's see how it goes. It's okay now. So now it has run successfully. So let's describe the same table again. Just say describe. So let's describe it. Then you see the column now. Can you see it has changed from address to location because we have renamed it. So now if you want to change both the name and the data type, I say you use change column. So now let's see. Say the syntax is alter table name, now say change column, you now mention the old name, then there will be space, then you now state the current name that you want it to be, then followed by the data type. So let's say you want to change location back to address that it is, they want to change the data type from integer, but that's not what it's supposed to be. It's supposed to be varchar. So you just say alter table SQL class change column location. That's the current name. Want to change it to a new name, we call it address this time around. Now say varchar, and then you are changing the two. So look at it. You can see that it runs successfully. So let's describe our table now. Can you see it has changed back to address? The data type has also changed. In case you want to delete the column created, you can use drop. The syntax is alter table, then I say drop column, then you now mention the specific column that you want to drop. So let's take a look at this example now. We say alter table SQL class drop column, then address. You run it, you can see it ran successfully. So if you want to check, describe the table by saying describe SQL class. When you run it, you can see that same column is no longer available. It is gone and gone. All right, then before we wrap it up, want to see how you can rename your table using rename. The syntax is rename table, then you mention the name of the table, which is SQL class to SQL practice. So let's run it now and see. Now the query has been run successfully. So now let's check it out by showing table. Now you can see it's showing us only SQL practice, no more SQL class. So the last thing we want to consider in data definition language is deleting your table. Now there are two ways to this. You can delete all the content of a table, that is all the records that you have in a table, and leaving the table the way it is, or you can as well delete the entire table. So if you want to delete the entire table, you still use drop to undo that. But if you want to delete only the content of a table, then you use what we call truncate. Truncate delete all the records or the data you have in a table, whereby drop will delete completely the entire table. So now let's take a look at dropping a table to delete the entire table. Now you go, you say drop table, then you now mention the name of the table. Now we have SQL practice. So you just run this. You can see everything ran successfully. Now if you want to show all the tables that you have in the database that we have been using since, you see that there will be no more table in the database. Okay, so that is how it is. But in case you want to delete only the records of a table, not practice that because there is no table anymore. What you do, the syntax is to say truncate table, then you mention the table name, and that is all you need. Look at it, you just say truncate table, then the table name. Let's say it's that same SQL now, SQL practice. Then this is how it is. Then you run it, then it will delete all the records you have in the table. As it is, we don't have a table in our database, but we will have done that as well. But that is just the way it is done. Thank you. Hope you enjoyed my video. Why not give me a like by hitting the thumbs up button, and also share with your friends and loved ones so that you can spread the knowledge to others. And if you have not subscribed to my channel, why not do so now, and so that you can see more of my video. And also don't forget to hit the notification bell so that you can always be the first to be notified each time I release a fresh video like this. And I also love to hear from you how this video has helped you, and if you have any other thing in data definition language that you are willing to share with others, you can as well use the comment section down below so that we'll all learn together. In my next video, I'll be taking you through the second part of SQL language, which is data manipulation language, or some will see it as data query language. So till we meet again, bye for now.